This is Two Girls, One Ticket with Lauren and Julia. Elite conversation driven by lifestyle and sports.
This is where the real game happens. And trust us, the odds are never even.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be back and so glad to have you here with me. I'm riding solo, which is going to be kind of fun, so we'll see how that goes, but I am on a solo mission. Well, don't we have a packed agenda for today? Bad Bunny getting announced as headliner for the Super Bowl, rowdy New Yorkers causing an absolute ruckus at Ryder Cup, the U.S. taking the big L there. Big win for my Oregon Ducks. What a scene for their whiteout game at Penn State. Highest scoring tie game in NFL history with the Packers and the Cowboys. Incredible. MLB postseason got off to a start tonight, and plenty more. So we'll get straight to it with hot takes, and I'm sure anyone can pick which one of these two topics was going to make the list for today. So Bad Bunny was announced to headline the Super Bowl, the first Latino male to headline the show ever. There have been Latino co-headliners previously, but there have not been any actual headliners. Bad Bunny's from Puerto Rico, obviously a U.S. territory, grew up singing in church as a choir kid, was heavily influenced by Daddy Yankee and various Latin artists. His nickname Bad Bunny came from a photo of him dressed as a bunny looking angry, which is kind of funny, and it stuck. So in 2016, he started uploading songs to SoundCloud while bagging groceries at a grocery store in Puerto Rico. His track Delays caught the attention of DJ Luan, who signed him. And then 2017, 2018, he collaborated with artists like J Balvin, Cardi B. I Like It came #1 on the Billboard charts, and things just kind of excelled from there. Pioneered Latin trap music, helped push it to mainstream. One of the most versatile Latin artists ever, winner of multiple Latin Grammys and Billboard Awards. Just an incredible career for somebody that's so young. Spotify's most streamed artist in the world for several years. Incredibly talented, top of the charts, world-renowned artist. For his most recent tour, he said that he did not want tour dates in the U.S. for concerns of ICE raiding his concerts and having a heavy presence, and did not want to put his fans in that position. Understandable. Okay, so now it's the Super Bowl, one of the biggest stages in the entire world, and you are the headliner. This to me screams, I know this isn't my audience, but good for him. He doesn't need the promotion. He doesn't need to be on that stage. He's already a global icon. He can promote his music to people that may not know him or listen to him, and the majority of his songs are in Spanish. Jay-Z and Rock Nation have a partnership with the NFL. Rock Nation is actually the one that secures the Super Bowl act. So Jay-Z was actually the one that made the call to Bad Bunny to let him know that he was going to be the headliner for this year. But that's all kind of interesting. I know there's been so much back and forth, people wanting to boycott, people mad about his stance with ICE and not performing in the United States. But again, he's from Puerto Rico. He's a U.S. citizen. And I can see him wanting to not put a lot of his fans in a compromising situation. But again, at the end of the day, the Super Bowl is the biggest stage in the entire world, and you're screaming, this isn't my audience. I just think it's weird to turn down all the U.S. tour dates, then accept Super Bowl, but equally weird on the NFL and Rock Nation side. I mean, he didn't submit to play at the Super Bowl. I'm sure there's a lot of involved, but they ultimately are the ones that selected it and reached out to him. Good for him. I mean, last year there were 133.5 million viewers for Kendrick Lamar, which I personally didn't think was the best show. And before that, 123.4 million for Usher in 2024, which also underwhelming in my opinion. Will Bad Bunny top this? And I think the answer is yes. And I can't wait to see the show that he puts on, and kind of a little bit of curiosity of how people are going to react and continue to react and what's going to be said about it. But I'm excited for it. I'll be there for it. By the way, Santa Clara will be the first city to host a Super Bowl and World Cup matches in the same year. That's kind of cool for the timing to match up like that. And I'm sure lots of Bad Bunny fans will be attending the World Cup matches. I guess one highlight is it's not Taylor Swift after all, which it seems that there was some discussion about it. And her team did not come to terms with Rock Nation NFL. They didn't want to agree to some of the stuff. Traditionally, these performers don't get paid, and she wanted the rights to any filming of it. I'm sure there's a lot more details, but anyways, it will not be Taylor, and I'm not sure that Travis Kelce is going to be there this season either. We will see about that. Okay, Ryder Cup fans, what was that? I feel like the whole hype, the whole prestige of the Ryder Cup, the buildup, having it at Bethpage was just blown away by the U.S. performance and seemingly lack of energy overall. And then most importantly, by the fans and the criticism for their lack of respect that has just been a whirlwind since the tournament. I mean, what a poor showing from the fans. And his wife's incident, the heckling, I mean, it just seemed like a zoo. And I thought that Rory made some really great points in his interview. He said that golf is held to a higher standard, like we have said previously, that golf and tennis are, elite sports. And he said that golf teaches etiquette and how to respect people. Then he pointed out that people need to cheer for their own team. He didn't hear people cheering for the good from Scotty and the rest of the U.S. crew. It was more about cheering against Europe. And that is just not proper form. I mean, cheer for your team. And then, yes, you can have ups and downs, in reacting to the other team, but don't make it about putting the other team down. And I agree with that. I mean, in tennis, from day one, you learn don't clap or cheer for or respond to unforced errors. If someone double faults, you don't cheer, you don't pump your fist. If they mishit a ball, you don't cheer. It's just not good form. It's not good respect, not nice to your opponent. Even as a spectator, if you're watching and you see someone double fault, you don't clap for that. I mean, everybody knows that. So it's just a little bit unfortunate that the highlights for the rest of the world, it's a bad look for the US. And I think that's another reason why most other countries look down to the US in general. I mean, it's just a lack of respect. The Europeans came here to our country for a good high level competition. So much buildup, it only happens every 2 years. And the takeaway was these fans are animals. I mean, it just kind of diminished, again, the prestige of the tournament, what it means. Supposed to be a very clean competition between the US and the Europeans. And I will say there's a lot of heat after for the Northeast and New Yorkers. And this is not just New York. I mean, these are also the same fans that go to Waste Management and other tournaments. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but other tournaments are, unruly with unruly fans. And, this is just not great for the scene at Ryder Cup of all places, and shouldn't be, frankly, at any tournament. I mean, it's just classless. You can have fun, you can party, you can cheer for your team, but it doesn't need to get this level of disrespect, especially at what's positioned to be such a high-end event. I suspect that there will be a takeaway from the PGA that they're going to have to come up with some sort of process, code of conduct for the fans, something to handle these unruly, disrespectful fans, have them tossed out, have some way to kind of manage the crowd, because there's no place for it. It ruins the atmosphere for everyone. Again, not only the players, but the other fans. And again, it's not all fans that are behaving this way, but, just the bad few kind of ruin it for everyone. And I can assure you that next year, or not next year, but next Ryder Cup, which will be held in Ireland at Adare Manor, there will be none of that nonsense. I mean, there will be none of it. They don't stand for that. And again, it happened to go their way. And thankfully, the US came back on Sunday and made it a little bit more interesting. But again, for the ultimate takeaway and the highlight of the tournaments to be on the fans is just not a good look for the U.S. Okay, moving on from the negativity around the event, congrats to Europe. What a showing for them. They arrived looking like they meant business. They did mean business and looked like they were having so much fun. A great team put together. Did you see the photo shoot that David Yarrow did? I love David Yarrow as a photographer in general, but that is just iconic to get that group of guys kind of, the premise of America's built on the European background and notion. The traditional Brooklyn Bridge shot, they did a black and white version. I mean, you can't recreate it if you tried. So you have to give it to them for that. Instant classic. So cool that they did that with David Yarrow. Tommy Fleetwood held it down with 4 points for himself. Rory and Hatton following that with 3.5 points. And again, I'm glad that the U.S. rallied back on Sunday because I just feel like everyone was kind of like, okay, they have it. We'll see. Really wasn't too much excitement about it. And then rallied back to make it close. Scotty with only 1 point from a singles match. I thought that he's 0-3 for Ryder Cup, so he's due to get a Ryder Cup win under his belt as far as the overall tournament. But it's okay. There's still time. And I want to give a shout out to Michael Jordan. He showed up. He is a legend out there. I was looking at posts and some highlights of his outfits, watches, looks from Ryder Cup over years. And that guy just gets it. He's an absolute GOAT in so many ways. I want to nominate him for the Ryder Cup captain. Teach these boys a few lessons on winning, respect, spirit, all around. Obviously, probably not going to go outside of the PGA to find a captain, and they've strongly favored captains that have previously played in a Ryder Cup. Tommy Armour in 1931 was the only captain to not have played in a Ryder Cup for the U.S. I think Michael Jordan needs a shot. Just turn it around for the U.S. I know they like to get things in order a couple years in advance, so maybe a few years out, just put him on the list. He deserves it. Kai Trump launched her own brand. Very elegant, very understated. I think she is great. She's obviously a talented golfer. Obviously, having the name behind her helps. Love that she's going to University of Miami. But it's just a simple KT in the front and then her actual personal signature along the cuff of the sleeve or close to it. And I just think it's very smart of her to capitalize on her own brand, on her name, have that with her. It reminds me a lot of the Roger Federer, RF logo, which is still one of the best in my opinion. And if she continues to have success on the golf course and make a name for herself, athletically, it's so smart to already have her personal brand and logo that she can translate if she gets signed by a Nike or Adidas or Viore or, just another brand. I just think it's great for her. And I think she is humble and I really think she presents herself well for her age. And I really liked that her brand is out there for herself. America's team. What a game that was. And you know what I think of America's team. I, of course, was cheering for the Packers, but I have to say I am never in any way excited for the Cowboys. I don't find excitement in watching them, except for Brandon Aubrey and his kicks. That's always fun. But someone turned the lights on for them. I mean, after that initial, beginning of the game, they just flipped it around and they were looking good. Pickens was on fire. So fun to watch. I really wanted the win for Micah Parsons, just going back to Dallas, playing against his team, and to take the W would have been fun. But all of that for a tie. Poor Jer, highest scoring tie game in NFL history. I think the one-time overtime rule is just terrible. And I get it protects the players. That's part of it. Obviously helps with TV scheduling. But honest and truly, I just don't like that. I mean, a lot of people give this rule as another nod to college football being better than the NFL. I mean, just this weekend, there were 3 double overtime games and 2 there's regular overtime, and there's a real winner at the end. And I mean, you put the time and you're rooting for your team and you're watching them go all the way in the back and forth, and then it's a tie. But I get it. But I like to see a winner. Not everyone gets a trophy or a ribbon in this world, and someone deserves to win. New York Giants, Jaxon Dart. What a debut for him. Only quarterback over the last 20 years to win his first career start versus a 3-0 team or better. No longer winless for the Giants. They needed that with the win over the Chargers. So Jackson's from Utah, was a first round pick for the Giants in the 2025 draft, played at USC, played at Ole Miss in college, and now after Sunday's win has the best selling jersey in the NFL currently. So good for him. Again, love to see that. Giants needed it, but that was a fun game to watch. Buffalo Bills and the Eagles are the only 2 teams that remain 4-0. Great start to the season. Can't wait to see them continue their run and see who can get to them first. EA Sports sold to a Saudi fund and a couple other funds in an all-cash $55 billion deal and went private. EA has the largest catalog of sports games in the entertainment industry, which means this could affect Madden's exclusivity with the NFL. EA Sports, it's in the game. I mean, that slogan and voice still lives in my head from my brother and his friends playing all the games growing up. And it literally just cracks me up to when I think of EA Sports, that's what I think of. It's in the game. Good for them. MLB has seen 3 straight years of rising attendance for the first time in almost 20 years. I mean, baseball is such an old, classic American sport. And I'm just glad to see that the numbers are back to trending up for fans. I have to say, the baseball season to me is so long and there are so many games that I kind of track a little bit. But when the playoffs start, that's when it's time to start watching and that's when it gets interesting. And I think there's nothing better than the playoffs and the World Series. Red Sox will be playing at Yankees Stadium, which is ideal, hoping that they push through. Then they'll play the Toronto Blue Jays. Also would love to see Detroit win and beat Cleveland. And on the other side, I'd like to see the Dodgers beat the Reds to take on the Phillies. So those are kind of my picks to see through to the next phase. But of course, I am a Yankee after all. And for everyone else in Texas, I obviously haven't adopted the Texas teams, but what a miss for the Rangers and the Astros this season. The Astros ended their 8-year postseason streak, and I really actually like the Astros. If I had to choose my Texas team, it would be the Astros. I like it's a cool stadium. I like Jim Crane's great. I like the players. I think it's a good team. I'd pick them. So too bad that this ended their 8-year run, and we will see none of them the rest of the season. So next year, the MLB is going to implement an automated ball strike challenge system, which uses camera technology to determine ball strike calls. Interesting. So human umpires will remain on the field. It's kind of like we've seen in tennis. They've shifted for some of the line calling to be automated, and then there's still the overall, chair ump. Teams will have 2 challenges per game. Pitchers, catchers, and the batters are the only positions that can trigger the review by tapping on their helmet or tapping on their hat, I guess. So they have to do it within 2 seconds. So we'll see how that goes. Some ways I feel like it could speed things up. Hopefully the accuracy is there. Sure it is, but just an interesting move for traditional baseball. College football, white out who? My Ducks flew in to Penn State and put on a spectacle. What a show that was. Great game. Also have to say, I know that it's tradition that the home team generally wears their dark uniform, the traveling team wears white, but ultimately it's the home team that can choose what color. Obviously, if it's a rivalry game or like Texas OU, Texas traditionally wears their orange, OU wears their red. But for the whiteout game, I loved that the Ducks were in there all white. And that, again, I know tradition and I know the rule, I know all of that, but I kind of think it would have been fun for Penn State to wear white to match the crowd. But again, that's just my take on it. But again, I also see that if their staple is wearing blue at home, go with it. But at the end of the day, what color jersey you're wearing isn't going to make you win the game. If you're going to win, you're going to win. So great game. Ducks are 30-3, including this season since the beginning of 2023. That's the best winning percentage in college football in this span. So now they have 9 straight wins on the road. And are 11-0 in conference since joining the Big Ten. So love to see them up there just below Ohio State. And I hope that they will be on top soon, because as much as I love to see Texas lose to Ohio State, I don't wish that they remain on top. Speaking of Longhorns, those Gators better be getting hungry for some Longhorns down in Gainesville is all I have to say this weekend. Chomp, chomp. Those Texas coaches are getting a little bit nervous heading down there. It will be a really great test to see how they handle some actual competition since Ohio State. So definitely we'll be watching that game. Oklahoma will have a relatively easy game against Kent State in Norman before they head down to Dallas for the Texas OU rivalry weekend the following weekend. So always a fun weekend. Again, another time to see how Texas actually performs and see how OU does against them. And I know Texas OU counts as, technically a home game for Texas at a neutral site, but I cannot remember a time since I don't even know when there hasn't been an actual home game for Texas in Austin in the month of October. And there are so many things that go in Austin the month of October. I mean, it's usually, kind of the best time of the year, October, November, things are cooling down, Austin city limits, F1, just so much. I mean, the city is such a buzz, so alive. And I just think it's interesting. Usually there's a home game during one of the ACL weekends. I think it overlaps with OU, but yeah, so we will see a lot more from Texas coming up, but nothing in October. Good win from Alabama over Georgia, A&M over Auburn. Rarely cheer for the Aggies, but like to see them win. And I'm still just counting them to come here and perform on Thanksgiving. So looking forward to this weekend as well in games. And as we get later into the season, I just think that things keep getting more and more interesting, more on the line. And that's the way we like it. Okay, so we're going to do something each week to throw out our favorite meme. Last week, we talked about Clemson and UC playing on Cartoon Network. This one was so good from this week. So right before the LSU Ole Miss game, Lynn Kiffin's daughter came out and blasted that she's dating Whit Weeks, a linebacker for LSU. Pretty funny time to troll on both sides, but just funny that her dad's out there coaching. So obviously this meme came out after. Not true, but I thought it was hilarious. So Ole Miss wins, which thank God. I really don't like Brian Kelly or LSU, mainly him, but a meme came out that said, Lane Kiffin's quote, saying on his motivation for beating LSU, he said pregame, your daughter calls me daddy. Well, now his entire state is calling me daddy, which I thought was hilarious. Obviously not real. It's a meme, but I'm like, that is good. I mean, that is props to whoever came out with that because it was very timely, very on point, and so funny. So weekly picks for this week with the NFL. Some good games coming up. 49ers, Rams, gonna go with the Rams. Vikings, Browns, Vikings. Cowboys, Jets, Cowboys. Giants versus Saints. Let's hope those Giants keep that momentum. Raiders versus Colts, going Colts. Dolphins versus Panthers, Panthers. Poor Tyreek out with getting his surgery. That was painful to watch. I hate to see that for any player, and I do like Tyreek. So I'm going to go with Panthers there. Broncos, Eagles, Eagles fly. Let's keep that streak up. Take it 5-0. Texans versus Ravens. Going to go Ravens. Titans versus Cardinals. We're going to go Cardinals. Bucks and Seahawks. Going Seahawks. Lions, Bengals. Lions. Commanders, Chargers. Commanders. Patriots versus Bills. Bills. My Giants' long-lost cousin. Got to support the Buffalo Bills. Chiefs versus Jaguars. We're going to go Chiefs. So kind of a quick wrap up. Again, that was a lot of me, solo mission, kind of fun. Follow, like, subscribe on all platforms. Continue to watch. And next week, we're going to do something fun. I'm going to push a few things out to see what everyone's thoughts are on the most annoying figures in college football. This can be announcers, celebrity fans, coaches, players, mascots, wives of coaches, anyone that's in the realm of college football. I would love to know who makes your list, and we will compile a list and speak to that next week, which I think will be kind of fun. So 2 girls, 1 ticket on all platforms. And thanks for listening, everyone. I hope everyone has a good week, and we will see you next week. Bye.